Hi, I'm Harry Wilkins, and I work with the Tabor Historical Society. Behind me is the Todd House Museum, the home of the Reverend John Todd and his wife Martha. It was the third house built in Tabor in 1853, right after the homes of George Belcher Gaston and Samuel Adams. These people came to Tabor, which wasn't Tabor then. They came to this area from Oberlin, Ohio, to create a Christian community and a Christian college, just as Oberlin was. Reverend Todd and his wife Martha were both graduates. They wanted to come here and create something from scratch, which they eventually did. Now in the 1850s, the nation, the United States, was headed toward the Civil War, and Tabor was considered to be a safe haven for runaways of people who were trying to escape slavery. They came primarily through Kansas and Missouri. This was a station in the Underground Railroad. The abolitionist John Brown was familiar with Tabor and was friends with some of the people who lived here. He considered this to be a safe haven. He and his men, who were down in Kansas fighting what were people in that state who wanted the state to be a slave state, John Brown and his men came to Tabor with their wounded men. They also came here to train. In one case, in 1857, they bivouacked across the street from the Todd House in what is now the city park. We're in the basement of the Todd House. It would have been referred to as a dugout back then, and the people who lived here, John and Martha Todd, wouldn't have lived here. It would have been used for storage and as a root cellar. When they built the house, there were very, very few trees in this area, hard to believe, but it was basically a prairie, a grass prairie. So they had to use whatever material they had at hand. This wall here used to be a load-bearing wall holding up the main floor. It's made out of mud adobe brick, and you can see pieces of straw in it which held it together. It's no longer load-bearing. They did have some wood. You can see hand-hewn beam here, but they, in some cases, used the actual tree itself as a floor joist, and there are several of them here holding the floor up. This basement was used by John Brown to store weapons and ammunition and materiel that were later